Hmm. Can't hear a word you're saying.
Check.
Yeah. All right, good. It's not me.
We got any sound yet?
There you go.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, so it wasn't me. I feel great.
Man, I had banged that. I freaking nailed that intro, too.
I don't think you did.
Jeez.
I don't think you did.
Jeez. Yes, I a little squirmy in my chair have knocked out the connected HDMI cord to my microphone, ladies and gentlemen. Oops.
I was like, is it just
"What
me? I was like, guys, somebody help me out here. I was like, I can't hear a word he's saying. I'm like,
yeah, great start. Here we go. Back in action, week 3. It's Hulk. It's Donuts. Check down champs coming at you on this beautiful Saturday. Help us. If you were watching on YouTube, if you were watching on Twitter, you got to like the show. You got to retweet it for us. We're giving you all a ton of parlays and long odd lottos this week 3. David and I, before the show, talked about it. We're like, you know what? Let's just go hard. Let's go hard on week 3. Let's get away from those easy to win straight picks that we're posting in our premiums. And let's just go bonkers here on YouTube and on Twitter for the fam. So, David, my friend, let the people know what they're about to get today.
Lots of long odds W's. Now, these plays will probably mostly be you'd want to do fractional units, sprinkle bets, quarter unit kind of thing. If you're feeling really frisky, you could go up to a half unit, but I wouldn't be putting a unit on a plus 3,200 very often unless you're comfortable potentially losing it. That's all. But we're gonna put together some good stuff here. Little mix of 2+ touchdown bets, maybe some 100+ ladder plays, maybe. I don't know. It's, we'll see where the mood strikes us. Maybe go to Home Depot today.
Ooh. Why would that be your big thing?
I've got to get some. I have to get lag bolts and caulk for my furnace.
Pardon?
Caulk for the furnace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is what I said. Yes.
Okay.
CAULK, I believe is how it's spelled.
There is an L in there, David. Make sure you
yes,
enunciate.
And a U. There's a U.
Correct.
Caulk.
How now, brown cow?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe some Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much time we're gonna have. Time is what
okay.
I'm not sure of.
B3.
Love it.
As we like to refer
Love
to it.
the reference. J-Step got it right off the bat. I appreciate that, J-Step.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Broncos, Buccaneers. This one could be an absolute Debbie Downer for betting purposes. Bo Nix under center for the Broncos. Listen, I don't know. What do you like out of this play? I've got maybe a little idea for this one, but you got any long odds plays or parlays that you've kind of cooked up or maybe are just thinking off the top of your head right now for this game?
I'm interested in a little Chris Godwin, honestly.
Okay.
I think you could go. Yeah, I think you could go. Listen, Slot Godwin is like one of my highest exposed players in fantasy this year, and I love what I'm seeing already. I think you could look at his receiving prop, his receptions prop, and maybe just build out a little Godwin goes crazy thing here with like his receptions prop, yardage, and maybe a touchdown, something like that. I think is interesting this week. But, Mike Evans could always, because I think Evans gets the Surtain treatment this week. So if Patrick Surtain is locked on to, you know what you did.
Oh, you want me to make a parlay?
Oh, yeah. Long odds, I thought we said. We said long odds.
Whoa.
You just gave that big, long, muted intro.
Honestly, I thought you were just talking about how much you like Godwin.
I do.
Make it more clear for us.
Let's just see what
the listeners.
Let's just see what it looks like.
Well, let's just see.
I just want to see, it's got to be good odds for us.
Give me some direction. What would you like here?
Maybe like his over receptions. So what's it, 6.5? So over his receptions right there. Give me like, let's do 80+ probably if you're going 7 receptions. 80+ and then a touchdown? I don't know.
Okay. That's going to be
interesting. Plus 140 there.
Listen, I mean, the Patrick Surtain treatment, if it does end up being on Mike Evans the whole time, I freaking like this lay. I mean, a plus 400 for basically just the fact that Baker's going to throw the ball 35 times and a lot of the passes aren't going to be going to the Evans that they usually do. What's not to like about this?
Listen, I think the Patrick Surtain treatment is real. What was it? Week 1. Who did Denver play? Was it Garrett Wilson? Somebody I had played and I overlooked. Shame on me. I overlooked the fact that Surtain was going to travel the entire field. Maybe it was DK. It might have been DK Metcalf. I overlooked the fact that Surtain was going to travel the entire field with the guy, and he went with him and locked him down. And that's not happening to me twice. You know what I mean? Shame on you. Or what is it? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Shame on you.
You get it. Me. What's that? Listen, George W. Remember that quote? It's in the J. Cole song where he's like, "Fool me once, he's not gonna fool me again." He just kind of like spaces out for a minute. He's like, the old saying. We have an old saying in Texas. It's "Fool me once and fool me twice. You're not gonna fool me again." Basically, that's it. So I think that's a real thing. I think Patrick Surtain does shadow Evans. And if we get that, yeah, give me the Chris Godwin love, because slot Godwin's a thing, guys. Slot Godwin is a thing.
All right. Honestly, I don't have much here. My angle was going to be on Chris Godwin having a big day for the same exact reason. So I'm happy with moving on. And that looks like it could be the angle of that game to go with. Yeah. Giants and Brownies, another kind of just clunker of a spot.
This slate is kind of, there's like 3 or 4 games in the high 30s for over-unders, and it's interesting. Yeah. What do you got?
There's some even lower ones. My gosh, with Justin Herbert and his potential missing of week 3 has dropped this even lower for the total. Yeah, no, dude, it is kind of one of those weeks where it's just
maybe an under
not the most electable looking week. You really got to pick your spots, I think. Giants Browns going to be one of those spots I don't pick. I just won't bet on it. Sooner or later, I will say sooner or later, we're going to see Amari Cooper do something with all of these targets that he's receiving. So is it this week? I don't know. But if you're going to bet on like some longer type plays, that's probably where I would go in this game of like just trying to identify the fact that, okay, Cooper's had 9 targets through both the first 2 weeks. He's clearly the number 1 target, and it's not even close. So maybe you grab Cooper for a tutty. You're looking at his receiving yards. Maybe you're grabbing some upside. You don't have to go too crazy. 60 plus yards. You're already at a plus 300 for Cooper. 60 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he's getting almost 10 targets a game. He did this to close out the season with Watson before he was hurt. So maybe this is kind of the angle, just something simple. Like, don't go too crazy. If you add in the receptions, look, that's the same exact odds that we had for the Godwin parlay. So, we're picking a wide receiver in each game and we're saying, hey, go do what you have the upside to do. And we're just parlaying it together through correlation. Okay, 5 catches for 60 yards. That's 12 yards of reception. Can Cooper get there and score? Absolutely. He dropped the touchdown in week 1 that would have cashed all 3 of these things.
Yeah. Listen, Amari Cooper's line for receptions was over 3.5. So we got that early. And then listen, his receiving yards, I think his prop is 46.5. He's had 9 and 8 targets. So 17 targets through 2 weeks. And the Giants are giving up a 75.9% catch rate, which is the 3rd worst in the league. So they are giving up catches at a super high clip. I think if he gets 9 or 8 targets like he had in week 1 and then week 2, he absolutely gets the receptions. I kind of like it still at the over 4.5. I think that's a fine option. I like it in this parlay. Yeah. And I like something with that. The touchdowns are always a little fickle. So just know that if you guys want a super simple one, then you could just go with like his receptions and his yardage. But then if you want to sweat a longer odds, throw in his touchdowns there. But yeah, I think that's my only play for this game. That catch rate is insane. 75.9% is wild. The Giants are a great team to target through the air, and he's due some regression this week. So absolutely, he's the only play for me in this game.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I'll let you start this up. And I think it's kind of cool that we have 2 wide receivers we've targeted to simply just go out there and have like a good game. Like, I don't think what we've targeted is like an outrageous ask, like, okay, 5 catches for 60 yards and a tutty. Like, Cooper could do that. Eagles, Saints. This one could be interesting. 49.5 point total. I believe it's the highest one on the entire slate, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. No.
Lions, Cardinals, 51.5. All right, so this is second highest in the slate. Could be interesting out there in New Orleans. You got any angles you want to start with for the Eagles?
I'm interested in Alvin Kamara. Eagles haven't given up a rushing touchdown this year. However, Kamara has been scoring at an incredible clip. I think we should do something with like his rushing. Can you do alt rushing and receiving or no?
Alt for total yardage?
Yeah. Could you
question. Let me check.
Could we like ladder? Could we like ladder that a little bit or something? I think it's like 101. So maybe we just include. There it is at the bottom. I guess just
there it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like maybe like a 125 plus isn't really out of the realm of possibility there at all for Kamara, because what did he have through the first 2 weeks? He had
100 and 180.
Yeah, exactly. Eagles allow the 4th most rushing yards in the league this year. So, I mean, I like for a player like Kamara, like I've seen everybody on Twitter over the rushing prop, over 64.5 rushing yards, which has probably moved since then and stuff too. And I think that's a fine play. I don't think that's a bad play by any means, but I like for a player like Kamara to attack it at this angle. Give me the rushing and his receiving yards, because if some reason the Eagles key in on his rushing, he could still get there with 70 yards through the air. So for a player like him, I think this is a fun angle to attack. Again, the rushing yards is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like for the sake of this, maybe give me like, the 125 plus for rushing and receiving. And I mean, I think you got to throw a touchdown in there for him, right? Like, I think it'd be silly not to. We're not going to get crazy good odds for this, but, and then on the I'll throw it to you on the Eagle side. I'm not sure if I have any Eagles love here. I'm just looking through my notes to see if there's anything that stuck out.
All right, so you want Kamara 125 and a tutty?
Yeah.
We're sitting at plus 206.
Not bad. I mean,
nothing outside the realm of possibility here. Like, the opportunity should be there.
I would have loved to see that at like a plus 250. It's kind of a little low for like a big game. I mean, that's a big game for sure. Yeah. But the Saints are going to have to lean on him. I also, there's a little interest. You could throw, I think, Shaheed in there for like 50 plus yards if we want to juice it up a little bit, something like that. Just roll out like 2 outcomes.
Like, if he gets 50 plus yards, it just seems to be a touchdown catch.
He probably did. You're right. You could do that. I mean, I think he's had like what, 3 and 4 catches through the first 2 weeks. So you're right. I mean,
just like 30-yard bombs every time.
Throw in what is like 50
there you go. 50 yards gets into a plus 525.
I think that's
I got some
simple.
Interest in Olave this week.
Okay. Talk to me about that. Yardage,
yeah, I think and what X15 problems right here in chat. I'll bring him up. Made a great point. And let me see, where is that one? That was a good one. I want to make sure he gets some recognition for that call out. Oh, it's not popping up in my StreamYard. For whatever reason, I see it on YouTube, but it's buried in StreamYard. Eagles run a ton of zone defense. That's why they get picked apart in the fourth quarter. Past 2 seasons, they have one of the bottom 5 worst defenses in the NFL to opposing quarterbacks in the fourth quarter. There's a random stat I found this week. 91.8 QB rating to opposing quarterbacks in the fourth quarter. And they continuously allowed in the second half of last season, and you saw it in week 2, quarterbacks come from behind in the fourth and beat them. The Eagles had lost 3 times in the last 8 games within the final 2 minutes against opposing quarterbacks who went down the field and scored a touchdown and beat them because their defense goes into this zone and these quarterbacks just get in this 2-minute offense. It's the number one way people have known for this for decades. The best way to beat zone defense is to pick up the pace. You just pick up the pace, you run really fast offense, and you just continuously make your changes to what you're calling based on what their zone is doing from play to play, and they just pick it apart. And the Eagles have not changed. We saw Kirk Cousins go 80 yards down the field and score in 30 seconds. I think Olave has a chance here, a guy who is very good at picking apart the zone. Derek Carr, who actually is pretty darn good at that. Why are we not betting on Olave this week? And on the flip side, Kamara, I love the play. I'm all over Kamara this week as too. I had him for 100 plus, 100.5 total rushing receiving. So just to add another 25 to put it up there, an easy money play. Alvin Kamara for a tutty. He's got 4 through 2 weeks. I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. So I'm just going to simply go to Olave here. And, it can be as simple as like, you just add like 60 plus for Olave and you're up to a 455. And like, I'd rather bet on Olave getting 60 yards receiving over Shaheed which did make it go to a plus 505. So for me personally speaking, something like that. And if you really want to climb the ladder a little bit, you can really start to increase this a little bit as well. And when you go look at Olave's receptions prop for the week, like they're saying the guy's going to have potentially 5+. The implied probabilities for this is like 62% or something. So if we're having like almost 2/3 an implied probability that he gets 5 catches, are we saying he's not going to average more than 12 yards per reception? I mean, you can juice this up if you want, like you can really make this a very long odds lay if you're like, okay, I think Olave's going to go out there and have himself a day.
Yeah, I was just surprised though. He's only gotten 8 targets through 2 games. So I'm just curious to see if
I think
maybe
it's the scores.
Well,
like, have you seen Derek Carr's thrown the ball like 23 and 25 times. They're winning by like 30 points.
I know, but that's kind of why I like Shaheed, because he's hit Shaheed both weeks for a big touchdown in both weeks. Yep. And Shaheed is still gathering targets. I just think Olave's fine. I don't think he's bad. I mean, like you said, like it's an odds play too. Like we get like a really good odds by throwing Shaheed in there. For what do we do? 40+, 50+? 50+. For something 50+ for something that Shaheed's hit both games this year. He's got 73 and 96 yards through 2 games. So yeah. I like the 100% hit rate that we have with Kirk Cousins, because you can't really go back to last year because it's entirely new offense, new player. If you want them both, throw them both in there.
I was just saying,
if you're going to throw both in, I wonder what Kirk Cousins' passing yardage prop is at, because you're basically halfway there to his passing prop. You could do something with that, or Derek Carr. Yeah, I was saying Kirk Cousins.
Yes, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, you know what I meant. Derek Carr. Yeah, I think
there's one thing that you know about me by now: semantics. I freaking hate it. I hate semantics. I hate that. Like, you understand the context of what we're saying? Okay, you don't get it wrong. I feel you. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk,
Captain
quarterback of the Saints.
Might as well be. Might as well be. They're basically interchangeable. Him and Derek Carr.
They
basically? They really are interchangeable, right?
They
they're basically the same person.
Kirk Cousins, by the way, 7-2 in primetime or last 9 games. That 1-15 start to his career, he has totally flipped the script. This dude
since he started wearing those chains.
Yeah. that photo on the plane is just one of my favorites of all time. It's just so good.
Through the roof.
Listen, this is pretty dope right here. If we're doing something like this, golly, if these guys are all hitting something like that, Saints went big. They definitely won this game. So Saints, or maybe even just covering. Now we're up to a plus 2,600. Now we're essentially game scripting an SGP, which David and I have talked about in previous shows. Yeah. When you guys are making parlays, when you're making an SGP, honestly, you should be looking at game scripting more than trying to pick a bunch of random outcomes coming to fruition. So that's, listen, we spent a lot of time in that game because that's probably one of the better games to bet on of the week. Touchdown wise, you got to choose between Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Who are you picking this week?
I'm always going Barkley, I think, until I see otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me Saquon Barkley. I don't really have a great reason for it too. What's the odds like? How much different are the odds? Jalen Hurts?
Tremendously different. I just saw it. So it was minus 160 for Barkley, plus 115 Jalen.
Still not enough, I don't think, to get me to change. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine option. Barkley, for me, it's like, okay, Barkley can score from anywhere on the field. Jalen needs to get within the 1 yard line. Essentially, it's like, Jalen needs to be at the 1 or the 2 yard line. So like somebody has to fall down at the 1 or the 2 yard line, essentially, for Jalen to get his touchdown. And that's the percentage of that happening. While it happens a lot, I like them just giving Barkley the ball. So
I got you. Okay. So I actually am going to go on the flip side of that and say, I like Jalen Hurts a little bit this week. I do. I like him for a rushing touchdown. Pardon?
You're a tush push guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not dead. We saw it again last week.
Just say it. You love tush push.
I love a good tush push.
There it is. Flip it. Flip it. I'm going to use that in everything. Oh, yeah.
Soundbite.
Yes. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in week 1, we didn't get a chance to see it. Barkley kept scoring from outside the 5. Week 2, we saw him inside the 2 yard line, and he had 2 attempts and scored a touchdown. In week 1, we still saw 4 different 3rd and 1 rushes. 3rd and 1 and 2nd 1 rushes in the game, and they tush pushed it all 4 times. So it's like, yes, we did not see it at the goal line, but yes, they still ran it, and they got the first down in all 4 of 4 attempts. So I had a feeling that he was going to get the chance as soon as they're on the 1 again. And we saw it in week 2. On the flip side of things, like you're saying, they got to be at the 1 yard line, essentially, for him to score, which is such a weird thing to like bet on. Like, okay, when he gets tackled at the 3, or there goes the tush bus, probably.
Yeah, there goes Saquon. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I think you have to understand that, if you're betting on something like that, if that's who you're backing and what you're backing, you're not going in for a unit on something where you literally need. It's not like betting on Josh Allen where he can score from the 10, he can tuck it and scramble and score from the 10. You literally need them to be on like the inside the 2, and that's his area to score touchdowns. So.
Yeah, I mean, it happens so frequently, which is crazy that somebody gets tackled at the 1 that that we're even talking about it. It really does happen a lot, right? But it's still like, it's still a very specific circumstance. Somebody asked if we don't have any other Eagles bets. Do you have anything else for the Eagles specifically in this game? I mean, if they're playing from behind,
not really. There's no AJ Brown again. Devonta Smith. I'm always worried about
probably juiced up.
Yeah, I'm always worried about. I can't remember. Is it Lattimore? I can't remember the corner out there.
Is Lattimore? Is Marshawn Lattimore playing? I don't think he played last week.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. That's why I don't have any plays here. I don't like Devonta at 5.5 where it's juiced at -140. So whatever. I'm just off them a little bit. I think it's a tough spot. Like, dude, the Saints are rumbling right now, and they're at home. So I am a little concerned here.
Superdome love. I think. Yeah, I think it looks like Lattimore had a hamstring injury and he is questionable, but it looks more like he's probably probable. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the 5.5. We were getting 4.5 with like a -130 week 1 and 2, and now it's 5.5 and it's -140. So, eventually great plays get too juiced where you could still take it, but
the edge is gone. The edge is gone on the line. Now the only edge we can create is the odds. So we're moving on. Chargers, Steelers, 34.5 point total, potentially no Justin Herbert. And, looks like we get another week of Justin Fields tucking it 15 times. Any place here that you like?
No.
Next question.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. No, nothing really. I was on JK the first 2 weeks. J.K. Dobbins has been a great play, but like this would be the week to go away from it, maybe.
Who talked about J.K. Dobbins in virtually every single offseason show we did for Best Ball? What do you mean? You're such a loser, dude. He was literally the only guy I kept bringing up on every single one of our, end of draft
like 3
targets.
shows.
Oh my gosh. You can't give me any props. You try to steal my thunder on this too? This guy.
I'm not stealing your thunder.
Oh,
he's
literally he's on like every thumbnail I did, every single content piece we had done together. I kept talking about J.K. Dobbins. I even remember doing our show where we did position by position. And I said, listen, I hate to do it again, but I'm going right back to the well with J.K. Dobbins. I got like 40% exposure on the guy and all my best ball teams. And he's going nuclear. And you go, me? I had J.K. Dobbins.
I have won a J.K. Dobbins bet the first 2 weeks of the season each week.
Was that my question? Was that my question?
If you wanted to victory lap yourself, you just did it. Why do you need me to do it for you?
What kind of co-host are you? What are you? Okay, you just
the kind that doesn't start a show on mute.
Our entire co-hosting existence, you competing against me? No, we're lifting each other up to our viewers. We're saying, hey, look how good the check down champs are. But you're like, no, Mitch can't have any spotlight. I need to make sure everyone knows I like J.K. Dobbins more than he does. Oh my God. I'm so annoyed. Houston Texans at Minnesota Vikings. Take it away. Go ahead. Why am I even here? The David Show. Here you go, guys.
Welcome to Betting with David. This is a quick transition. Betting with David. We're going to look at the
Houston Texans. Get your face off the screen. Joe Hog. This guy, just a pure glory hog. Could care less about anybody else but himself. That's unbelievable.
Great read on J.K. Dobbins through the first.
We're on the Texans Vikings, David.
Nico Collins has looked fantastic the first 2 weeks of the season. Texans and Vikings. Honestly, I don't have any specific plays other than Sam Darnold over one interception over 0.5 to -121 on Caesars is the best odds I think we can get. But I think that he's thrown an interception through the first 2 games. If he's in a negative game script, playing from behind, having to chuck the ball a little bit down the field, I like the over for an interception. Oh, beautiful. Start your parlay with that.
All right.
I don't know. I think we're just going to build out an SGP for like maybe a little of these 2 stud wide receivers we have going against each other. A little.
Are you concerned about Justin Jefferson at all? Oh, I got the wrong screen up. There we go. Are you concerned about Justin Jefferson at all?
No. Why? What's there to be concerned about?
His hammy?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think about Justin Jefferson's hammy?
I'm asking you, man. This is your segment.
This doesn't have to be my segment.
Oh my God. The question was tossed to you. Please.
I know, but I didn't want it. I had more plays for the Browns game, believe it or not, that you had. So I was like, oh man, I needed this. Yeah, I did. I really did. I had all the Cooper stuff. I don't have a lot for this game.
We already talked about Cooper Kupp.
No. Amari Cooper.
Or we already talked about Amari Cooper.
I know. What I'm saying is I was more prepared for that game. I don't have anything for this game specifically drawn up that I can just jump on.
All right, let's work it together. So you like
that's what I'm saying.
You like Darnold for an INT?
I do. That's all I got. Let's talk about what else. What do you like?
Sure. I'm gonna go with Narrative Street here. We got one of the most emotional NFL wide receivers, fire in this man's belly, returning to Minnesota.
You must really like the Diggs play because I know you hate Diggs now.
I don't hate Diggs. I just thought he was a waste of space for the Bills. Yeah, he was a waste of space for the Bills for final 8 weeks. Cried about not getting the ball in big spots. He got the ball in the biggest spot of the season. The ball went through his hands against the Chiefs. So it is what it is, man. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it. Talked about this all offseason. Yes, I did, David. I talked about it. His lack of explosion, and we're seeing it now. Guy has 37 and 38 yards and 10 catches this season. And it's very much what he had turned into at the end of the Bills last 8 games of the season as well. It is what it is. But I think he's still going to be a great red zone target because he's so good at route running. And this is where a guy like this, a veteran who has a nose for the end zone, is going to be able to make something happen. And he's back in Minnesota, man. Like, he left on not good terms, just like he left Buffalo on not good terms. You got to think, if they have the opportunity to give their veteran this to keep him happy as well for at least a few more weeks.
Right. I got a question for you. Would you take it as just a straight bet? Like, do you like that as just a straight play?
I don't know. I really haven't looked into this. The Diggs play. I think I only had like 5 posted single bets so far. I just haven't gone through the entire slate. I think that I probably would research this a little bit further to find what type of odds we can get. If only I had like an optimizer, it showed me all the touchdown odds. I'd probably go look and see if there was one. I'd probably go look.
Listen, I know you're waiting for it. So let's just take a time out. We've got a couple people that are watching for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, are they always so hostile to each other?" But let me say this:
it's a shtick.
Great job. Love each other. Great job on the J.K. Dobbins play. I think he's been a great play. I don't think he's a great play this week. I hope he stays healthy for your sake, because that was really my only concern, is we obviously haven't seen him healthy. But
okay, I love that you went back to it. I love you to death.
I think
if people don't understand by now, we've been doing this for a year and a half together. We have these on-air tiffs. They're fun, and they're all for fun. So I don't know. What did you see somebody in chat like? Are they okay?
No, not really. But it was funny. Some I Love Money said right after we got off ranting, he's like, "Oh, first time watcher," and I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, is he saying that? He's like, "This is interesting. This is an interesting dynamic they have here. They just get on here and argue for 30 minutes. Actually, like an hour and 30 minutes."
No, I got nothing. Like, there's no analytics or anything that back this up.
Okay, no, I just wasn't sure.
Like, I'm just taking Narrative Street here.
Like,
give me the man for a tutty.
No, he didn't. Okay,
he did not score in week 2. Scored 2 in week 1.
Yep.
And yeah, exactly. MVP Eric understands. I mean, listen. The closer you are with people, the more you should probably see stuff like this, right? Like, if you can't try to ruffle your best buddy's feathers, then is that a best buddy?
Listen, I just came across something. What about Diggs under 51.5 receiving? What is it? Rushing or receiving? 48.5? Yeah, it's basically the same. Throw in his rushing and receiving. The guy's not getting a rush. Wow. Listen, that's just 4 yards I just bought us. I love it. Because, okay, so his receiving yards is 48.5. His rushing and receiving is 51.5. They're not giving Stephon Diggs a run. Like, there's no reason to.
Getting 2 yards. I actually am not able to.
So you're getting like 3 yards.
Yeah, I don't think I'm able to. Where would that be under? Maybe it's under rushing.
It's under rushing. Yeah, it's weird. Rushing, yeah.
Stephon Diggs.
Wow,
So
it's
it's
not
not a
on
parlay
DK.
thing.
It's on, okay, so it's on BetMGM, Caesars, Sleeper, or Underdog.
Okay.
If only I had a tool that could have told you that.
Yes, if only we had a tool.
It's 51.5 on BetMGM and Caesars. So
okay.
I think that's an interesting thing. I just bought us 3 yards. He hasn't eclipsed this line in any game this year. He had 39 and 37. And like Tank Dell and Nico are the guys. You know what I mean? Like he's not that guy. So even when he had a big week against the Colts, he had 39. So I like that. Actually, I'm going to have to write that down. It's a really solid like straight play.
So you're kind of skirting where I wanted to take this conversation. So I'm just going to go there now. We have a backfield with Cam Akers as the starting running back. And I don't know if you saw him last week, but like, man, he looks nothing like himself. He looked incredibly slow. He looked like a plotter. He's really? Just been through. Oh my gosh. Yes. I watched a lot of that one.
He looked really good.
He looked like a plotter last week. Weird. He's a bigger back now. He's a lot bigger than he used to be when he was healthy with the Rams. I think the injuries maybe caught up, and maybe this is a small sample size, and I only saw 7 carries, right? So maybe he pops off this week. His rushing prop is at 62.5, or maybe because he's a bigger boy now, he's going to get some touchdowns or something. But if they struggle to run the football on the road here in Minnesota without Joe Mixon, CJ Stroud with those wide receivers, high passing attempt upside. I mean, is there an angle here where we're just going to be targeting the Texans passing game and just parlaying everything?
I think that's always a good option. I mean, in this offense, what's Nico's Tank has not done a lot yet, but he could still be just working himself back from injury and from getting shot in the leg. Let's see, what's Tank at? Wow, Tank did nothing. Less than nothing in week 2. Negative 8 yards or something in week 2. Something like that. terrible stat line. Only 7 and 4 targets. Man, that's interesting. I mean, maybe it was just a Nico week, but look, I mean, I think Tank's got a rebound. He's in an interesting rebound spot. His receptions prop is 3.5 juice to the over. So it looks like maybe the public or the books have set this in a way that they think he's going to rebound. Yeah, I think you could get his passing attack. What does it look like if so Nico's at 73.5. Man, does it just seem like that's too low?
Nico seems too low.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm at 117 and 135 yards.
Right. Yeah, I'm right there. I was thinking Nico of maybe putting like 100 plus and just seeing how high we can get this. Because if they can't run the football, they're going to throw it a ton, and Nico's going to garner 25, 30% of the target share. We're getting 10, 12 targets. Like, that'd be nuts.
Is Jefferson really not going to play? Because if he doesn't play, does this game turn into a little bit of a blowout? I mean, like, who's Sam Darnold going to throw to if it's not Jefferson out there? Like, if he's not there.
Addison returning this week?
He might be, but I
thought I heard some stuff about him and some promising injury news. But again, I haven't really dug deep on this.
I still could be a little nervous though, because like Addison is not Jefferson. You know what I mean? Like that's a big loss, obviously. Yeah. You know, like, so I'm curious to see, do they struggle then if Jefferson's out? Like, does Darnold struggle and they have no explode? I mean, Addison's a decent player. He's a good number 2 and stuff. But like, do they lose that explosivity?
Do you want to roll out a Nico play, or do you just want to leave it like that?
I think we got to throw Nico 100 plus in there.
Ooh, let's do it.
Yeah, he's hit 100 plus in both games.
I just want a real quick look. So if we even just took like the over 73.5, we're already up to plus 800. Like that is the type of play we are looking to do this week. Like these longer odd lays. Now, if you want to go ham and you want to put the 100 plus alt receiving yards, my dude's gonna give you quite the. Let's see, can we do 100? Well, we'll do over 95.
Yeah, that's fine.
Plus 1,300. So you get plus 500 more. I don't know.
I'm just curious. What does it look like if we take out Diggs? I know he's a plus 180. I just want to see, because that's volatile. Wow, that ain't bad, man. Holy smokes, for an interception.
Yeah, and then Nico to do what he's been doing.
If the Vikings are playing from behind, Sam Darnold has to throw either as much or more than he has had to so far. Nico keeps doing what he's doing easily. Like that's even a low threshold.
I mean, with this, with the game theory you're spitting out here too, Texas money line.
I think it depends on Justin Jefferson, and it's kind of crazy, but he's that good of a receiver. I do think he changes the game for this team for what Sam Darnold can do. Mm-hmm. If Jefferson's out, yes. If Jefferson's in, maybe still. right? Like that's how I feel. Did you just spam like the YouTube fam?
On my YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
it's
it
not for the
that.
whole stream.
Oh, no, that's
So
fine. I don't care.
That's not on yours.
You sent it 4 times though. Did you mean to?
No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All
yes.
right. I think that's
ladies and gentlemen, right here, like the YouTube. If you're watching David, if you're watching me, please like our shows. Help us grow the Check Down Champs show, the Saturday morning show. We do it for you every single Saturday, year round. If you're enjoying all season NFL talk and best ball and sports betting, you got to run it up for us. Help us grow the platforms here. Help us grow on YouTube, and we'll continue to be here for you every single Saturday. Let's move on. I got an idea here. Yeah. I think we should probably skip a few of these garbage games and then just start going to like just creating overall parlays that aren't SGP driven. Are you okay with that?
Grabbing plays from everywhere?
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever.
Let's go nuts. Packers Titans. I can fade it. You want to fade it?
Yeah, I don't have anything for that game.
Bears Colts. Go for it.
I don't know. Nothing. I don't really have a lot of plays. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown, I think is in play. Jonathan Taylor, 2+ touchdowns is in play. Josh and I have a bet on this game. Little friendly action. Hopefully the Colts don't disappoint me coming back home. I think the Colts are desperate for a win and they need a win. So anytime touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. And yeah, exactly.
Just that. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Okay.
Yep.
Not your boy Abrich.
I don't know. It's fine. I think Jonathan Taylor, he's super due. Jonathan Taylor is super due. He had like 135.
Didn't he score already? Week 1?
He scored week 1, but then last week he had 135 total yards in the first 3 quarters. Didn't play in the 4th quarter because of the game script, and he missed the block earlier. Man. And yeah, dude, he's running good. This offensive line looks good. Yep. This team is going to be good. They figure it out. It just might take a year to figure it out, but I like that play. I mean, Richardson always can score a touchdown, but I think they might just try to feed Jonathan Taylor. I actually like Jonathan Taylor's 2+ touchdowns potentially too this week. So probably have a little sprinkle action on that. But I don't really have a good finger on the pulse of what the Bears are doing. So I'm not going to try to force it in. Sheesh. Yeah, I'm not going to try to force it in. I mean, Anthony Richardson scored a touchdown in the first 2. He's thrown a touchdown in the first 2 weeks. I saw that line on there as a parlay piece you could throw on if you want to. But yeah, I think that's my that, and then a little sprinkle on Jonathan Taylor 2+ is probably my favorite options.
All right. Colts aficionado. I'll let you run with that one. Let's check the next game. Panthers at Raiders. Once again, another spot where I just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, like, are you going back to the well on your boy Devontae Adams touchdown?
Let me see the odds. I haven't even looked at this game for betting purposes. No, +110. No thanks.
Okay. Yep.
The 200s. That was delicious, but pass on that. Okay. Dolphins and Skylar Thompson on the road against the Seahawks. Yeah, I don't understand why this spread isn't like 7.5. I know we're not here to talk about game stuff, but that 4.5 looks nice.
Throw it out there.
That maybe Kenneth Walker being out is the issue with that. Their offense definitely didn't look as good. Patriots played some good defense last week for what it's worth. Zach Charbonnet was decent in reserve, getting a spot start, but definitely was not as explosive and definitely did not make the plays that you see Kenneth Walker making, breaking those tackles. So maybe we can go back to the well. What was it? Some Zach props. Do you have any spots in this one that you like? DK Metcalf again? What are you thinking?
Skylar Thompson's passing yardage prop was a 196.5. I liked the under on that when that came out. I don't know what it still is at, but so that was something I was interested in. And
still there.
Achane would be the only guy. Yeah, I think that's a great play. The only concern being, he's only going to get there if Tyreek Hill just essentially breaks a slant for, 190 yards or whatever once or twice. And so otherwise, I like the under there for Skylar Thompson. I mean, he could get there checking it down to this offense, but he just looked so bad in week 1. I'm going to bet, or week 2 when he came in a spot, albeit in a spot start, but still he's only had a week to practice. I don't expect him to take huge leaps. I think they're going to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But I still like the under. Achane, his touchdown prop's not good enough in this potentially ugly offense for me to want to target it at like a +110 or whatever. But he would be the guy I would be most inclined to take action on, would be Achane, because to me he's like the most quarterback friendly guy out there, even more so than Tyreek. After what we've seen through the first 2 weeks, it looks like this team really is leaning on like Achane first and foremost potentially, which is crazy, but he is that good. So I love all the Achane, and but But as far as like betting them this
As far
week,
as what though? Like
I
you
just
love all the HN in what
I
betting
love
game?
all the HN in this offense. I
Mhm.
don't love anything for him really this week because
Okay.
I think that their offense is just could potentially look that bad.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot else other than that. That's my play for this game. That's what I would look at is like a building block piece in here.
Okay.
And if you think that somebody's got to score an HN gets a touchdown, or you think Geno Smith throws a touchdown, throw that in there, something like that. But I don't really have any strong leads in this game.
Yeah, it's a tough game to bet on, I think,
It
honestly.
is.
Maybe if you want to, if you're just trying to create a parlay of some sort, HN get some receiving yards out of the backfield if we think that Skylar's just getting the ball out quickly. But I agree that it's like, what's the point? What's the point? There's just better games to target this week, parlay wise. So I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Niners, Rams. Might not be the showdown we wanted. No CMC, no Deebo Samuel, no George Kittle, no
Is
Puka
George
Nacua.
Kittle out for sure?
I believe he's doubtful right now.
Okay.
No Puka Nacua
And no Cooper Kupp.
and then no Cooper Kupp. That's 5 bona fide stars out for this game. Just not the matchup we thought we'd be getting out there in California this week.
Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown parlayed with San Francisco money line, move on.
I think that's as simple as that for me as well.
I think Ayuk could get a touchdown this week. I do think I have some interest in Ayuk. It started really slow this season. I think if he gets a rebound, I mean, listen, like you said, no CMC, no Samuel, no Kittle. It's really Ayuk out there, and they're going to have to score a little bit. So, I mean, Mason's the easy play, but look at, it's only a minus 110. I like maybe throw in Ayuk with it. What does it look like if you throw Ayuk in with that parlay? Not bad. That's 2 touchdowns for a plus 335.
Can I interest you in Kyle Juszczyk? Yeah, Juszczyk.
I don't know. Can you are you interested in it?
A little bit.
All right.
I mean, a little bit.
I mean, yeah, sure. He could score.
One of those longer odd plays. This would not be a parlay driven play. This is very much like I'm taking a straight pick, little sprinkle action, 10th of a unit, something like that. Just keep it simple.
You could. Yeah. I don't know. What does his usage look like? Like why this week? Like, what does it look? No, but like without those guys, does he see a big bump or anything? Does he?
No, there's not like a huge statistical thing. This is more of a, hey, they're missing bodies. They're missing their red zone bodies. And we have seen Kyle in the past be used a little bit around the goal line. These little out of the backfield type flare things, fullback dives, like they've done it in years past. I think he scored last week, actually.
He caught he caught a 20-yard pass or something last week, I think.
Is that what it was? I knew he had a big play because I remember seeing people excited.
Yeah.
Did he score though? Let me look this up.
I don't think he did. I thought he got tackled at like the 5-yard line.
Okay. So
I think I was watching that. I could be remembering it wrong, unless I'm making that up, in which case I'm a liar. But I think that he got tackled at like the 5. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that they're going to use more often there's targets to go around.
Exactly. And we've seen him. We had a stretch a few years back where Kittle was out and Kyle was getting more catches out of the backfield. That's kind of one of the only things I'm remembering. And I think they actually probably put him there at tight end or something too. Like maybe he was running some routes from there. I'm intrigued. I'm a little intrigued. I think, listen, for this type of show, I think this is the type of play I'm looking to do, plus 450 and move on. It's just not the spot. It's just not the spot to bet on, in my opinion. That game's just kind of gross. Next one, though, I mean, I'm kind of glossing over that one because let's talk about the Lions and Cardinals.
I have very much interest in the passing game for the Cardinals, but I actually like a Greg Dortch play. Slot receivers have been killing Detroit this year. So I'm interested in Greg Dortch. I think I'll probably end up playing some Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. His line opened up the week at 57.5 receiving yards, which is crazy low for Marvin Harrison Jr. in my opinion. So I think you could probably play both of them, to be honest, because Greg Dortch's line is low. Marvin Harrison's line was low. I bet you that's probably bumped up a little bit. But yeah, I like both of those guys. I think a James Conner touchdowns in play. Obviously Montgomery's on there. There's just a lot of options. So where do you want to go?
Well, hold on. Let me start punching some of this in. It was hard to keep pace with you. So Marvin Harrison Jr. yardage. What are you thinking?
I like this over 57.5. I don't think it's a big difference between 62.5. Obviously that line is bumped a little bit. I think
was Dortch at what did you want?
He was at 27.5 yards. Yep. Okay. So I like that. I think that's a fine start. You could probably throw in a James Conner touchdown or a Montgomery touchdown on the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
Both even odds. That's pretty good. And actually, look, they put Gibbs, all these guys at the same spot. So funny. I mean, right there. That's
plus 1,000.
Nice.
You know, plus 1,000. You got Dortch, MHJ, and then Conner and Monty doing what they do.
I mean, that's
you like it as much as you thought when you're seeing it, or what?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty easy for a plus 1,000. I feel like.
Listen, these are the types of lays I like. You know, you're not betting on like 9 outcomes. You know, just four things come to fruition. Yep. Right. Exactly. MHJ catches a 40-yarder early. Dortch, you know, gets peppered a little bit throughout the game, and you know, Monty has scored in 14 of the last 17 games alongside Gibbs. I know that one because I talked about it. Conner, I think it's like 70% of the games with Kyler Murray at quarterback he's scored. So it's like you got some upside. You got some upside here. And these are the, honestly, like I like the touchdowns so much this week. These are really the only two I'd like maybe hesitate on. So if you wanted to outline those 25 plus, 50 plus, something like that too. Yeah. You know, it probably goes down to like a plus 850 or something. And it's still pretty nice.
I think, I mean, Dortch is definitely a data play this week because the slot has just been a huge area of weakness for Detroit. And there's no reason to think that that changes. And Dortch is a very capable slot receiver. I'm almost like preferring Dortch, which is kind of crazy, over Harrison if we had to remove one out. But like, I think they're both fine options. I think it's a good, I mean, especially if we get a game script like we're looking for, if the Lions can maybe even get out ahead, you know, jump to a 10-0 lead or something, they're just going to have to be throwing the ball. Dortch is going to get peppered. Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting peppered.
I got a spot right here that I'm just waiting. I've just been waiting
for Laporta.
Where's the Laporta blow up game? And it's going to happen when we least expect it. You know, it's like people were kind of on it through the first week. Didn't really happen. Week 2, they went back to the well because it didn't happen in week 1. And I think people get burned twice. What do? This is the most recency bias thing ever in sports betting. They get burned once, they get burned twice, they stop doing it.
I know, but what are you going to bet it on the whole year and just lose until he all of a sudden blows up and then you never made your money back from the first 2?
Well, clearly, I don't think it's just going to continue to miss all year.
No, I know. I'm just that's my only thing. It's like, well, you got 2
betting
weeks.
is 1 week at a time. You know, like I'm not looking looking forward and thinking, okay, am I going to bet on this for the next 14 weeks? I don't care about that. I care about right now. Week 3, Laporta didn't score through 2 weeks. Dude had 10 touchdowns last season, and you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown slightly banged up. And everyone's betting on Gibbs. Everyone's betting on Monty. So what happens in NFL betting when the public is on something? The opposite happens. You know. So I think there's some upside here for the Laporta.
Here's my question: did you bet on him week 1 and week 2 to score a touchdown?
Laporta? I haven't bet on Laporta this season.
Okay, so for you, then I think it's different because like this is the perfect time for you to jump in because you're right. He is due. You haven't lost money on him, but like if I was somebody that lost money on him the first 2 weeks, like I could see the mindset to be like, I'm gonna wait till he shows me he gets that touchdown before you go back to him.
Sure, that's the square. That's the square betting. You know,
I got you.
I don't like that. Listen. What past results don't indicate future results, right?
Sure.
It's I think you got to have context, right? You know, okay, no touchdown through 2 games. And that's the trends that people are referring to when they're talking about betting. Like, how stupid. This guy is the starting tight end for a very good offense that gets inside the 20 like freaking 7-8 times a game, and he had 10 touchdowns his rookie year. Like, take the context with this stuff. Like, yes, he did not score, but guess what? In the context of what Samuel Laporta's role is, what he's shown he can do, and for how talented he is, I could care less about not scoring a touchdown through 2 weeks. He's going to score. He's going to score touchdowns this season. And man, if we're getting a plus 160?
115. Like I think it was 115.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe I'm wrong. Look back.
That would be bad. Oh, plus 155.
Oh, 155.
No, that's pretty good. Okay. I like that.
That's not bad. Okay.
No, I know. And I bet if we use some type of optimizer to price shop, that we would find a better line for Laporta to take us like a straight bet for the week.
No concern about Laporta's lack of targets in the red zone, only having 1 through 2 weeks, being the first week.
Progression.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
He's only had 5 and 3 targets total. I'm not saying he doesn't. I got
somebody ringing the doorbell. I'm going to throw you up on the.
Oh yeah, screen. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you want to let me take over? No, he didn't let me take over. Well, Now it's the David show where I have to talk about what's on the screen right now. Yeah, I think Laporte is a fine option. He's going to obviously score. I do think there's something to be said on if you've bet on him this season. I understand why you would not want to go back to the well yet, because it's not like this is a prime spot for him. It's not a bad spot. Let me see if I can pull up real quick. Tight ends against the Cardinals. Tight ends against the Cardinals receiving. They have given up. I just want to see what their targets against the Cardinals. They have given up the third fewest targets on the season, 6 just to tight ends, 6, allowing a 50% catch rate. So those are some things that I'd look at before I'm confidently jumping all over it. But if you're just talking about throwing it in as a piece and you're getting decent odds, yeah, I'd probably do maybe a quarter unit on it or something, but I don't think I'd go too heavy on it because it hasn't come to fruition yet. And I have nothing that backs up this being the week other than like always do. So that's my opinion on this play. Could he score? Absolutely. There's a lot of guys that could score this week.
Question for you.
Is there a reason to think that this is the week for him to score? Not particularly.
What's the difference of a play like this versus us talking about Davante Adams in week 2 against the Ravens?
What do you explain? Why we explain the similarities?
Okay. Porta, 10 touchdowns last season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Didn't score in week 1. So week 2, you go to him. What's the difference of Davante Adams, guy who scored fewer touchdowns last season? Tough matchup in week 2, as you're talking about matchups right now. But we jumped on Davante Adams together last week.
Multiple things. A really positive game script. They were 9.5 point underdogs in that game. Vegas was, I think, at the end of the week. So you're thinking that they're going to be throwing the whole game. You know that they don't have the running game to get them there. So there's not a lot of target competition for the Raiders. I think we also got it at a plus 215 or plus 210.
Great odds.
So like the odds are so much better. And now you've got 2 weeks of data, and you only have one season of Sam Laporta. One season, albeit a great rookie season. You have one season to go by, so a much smaller sample size. So we're saying, oh, Sam Laporta is great. He's great, whatever. He is good, but you have one season of data and a semi-dud of a first 2 weeks of the season. So I think there's a lot different there to me, in my opinion. Also, I do like looking at things like how is his team against the tight end position? How is his team done against wide receivers? That kind of thing. So I think there's like 3
Can we hang our hat on that yet? Through 2 weeks?
I think you can start to. I think you could start to see trends in 2 weeks. No, they're obviously stronger against
Arizona
after 8 weeks.
It was Kincaid. Bills aren't throwing. And then who they play last week?
I mean, Kincaid, a guy we love. And then they played I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong team. Hold on. Bills and Rams. So Rams don't really have a target, but the Bills have a good receiving guy. He was your number 1 tight end this year. So if you're going to say that,
they're just not throwing either though. You know, I mean, that's part of it. It's like the offense has changed. Detroit's still throwing.
Sure. And what has it gotten for Laporta this season so far? 44 yards receiving and 13.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. So I think, sure. Like if we're just talking about, could it happen? Absolutely. Sam Laporta.
It's NFL. Sure. Anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you have a decent amount of data, small sample size from this year, larger sample size when you reference like Davante Adams and Sam Laporta of last year and stuff too, that you could start deducing some things. And the game script was a great game script. Exactly. Great game script for Davante last week. This one should be back and forth. So it's still a good game script, but the Eagles could absolutely be playing, or I'm sorry, the Arizona Cardinals could absolutely be playing from behind here and force Detroit to not have to throw the ball that much, in which case they will heavily lean on their two running backs who are great running backs. So I just don't think it's not a 1-for-1 apples to apples thing. That's all.
I'm going to interject and say that I agree with you. I agree with you for DK. The reason why I brought this up, and I brought this up because I had this insight behind closed doors, right?
Ooh, plus
195 on Fliff. So it's very similar to the Davante Adams plus 215 last week. It's bounce back. It's regression. We've seen this before. Can we hang our hat on stats through 2 weeks? What do people believe in? Do they want to bet on stuff like that? A plus 195, I think is worth a sprinkle. I'm not saying you're going crazy. And like in the confines of what we're doing, when we're putting together a parlay, I like it. I do like it, but I agree with you. If you're playing like a plus 155 straight, David, I agree. I don't think I would bet on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And listen, now we're talking about two different things. 155 is one thing. 195 is significant. That's a decent jump.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah, I think it's a fine option. I don't know if I would play it or not yet at this point, but yeah, there are similar odds now, at least if you can play it on Fliff, but it's still a different spot. Devontae Adams and Sam Laporta shouldn't be mentioned in the same conversation yet. Devontae Adams is an incredible red zone wide receiver, always has been. Like that catch he made on the sidelines last week where he dropped his toes down like that. There's a few guys in the league that can make that catch as consistently as Devontae Adams can, even at his age right now. So, yeah.
Do you want to talk about Jameson Williams at all? If you got to take bets between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams going into week 3.
It's hard to take the injured guy over a healthy guy, but I don't really have anything on either. I don't know how bad Amon-Ra is banged up. Yeah. I have to read. I want to read a little bit more about that. And Jameson Williams is a guy that gets there kind of like a Rashid Shaheed. He's going to get there on a long play or a long touchdown. So that's always an option.
Him. He's getting some targets.
Well, he's their number 2 receiver. Yeah,
right.
Reynolds left.
Well, yes. So. But he's also getting like some end arounds. Like they're designing plays for him. They're turning him into an actual threat.
You started seeing that last year in the playoffs. They ran that end around that he took 44 yards to the house. And Jameson Williams coming out of Alabama was a guy that people were very high on. You have the injury early.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 12th overall pick. Like the dude's draft pedigree is only trumped by 11 people a couple years ago. You know, like he's got the talent, you know, at least it indicated that he had the talent. Dude, he's putting it together right now. He's putting it together. He's got 5 catches both weeks. 130 yards week 1, 79, 80 something last week.
Honestly,
looks great.
The thing I like the most about him is his targets. He's got 20 targets through the first 2 weeks. Like
that's what I mean. I'm like, dude, I'm not around St. Brown. I think I potentially was too high on. Just like we were just talking about, can you hang your hat on stats through 2 weeks? I think in some cases, you know, it's all about context. Man, what we're seeing as far as how they're both being used, I think I was too high on Amon-Ra St. Brown heading into year 4, and I was too low on Jameson Williams. I can stand tall saying that because golly,
Jameson Williams is the guy I've had on my dynasty team, so I've been high on him ever since he came out, and I've just been waiting for him finally to do this. Just kind of riding the bench until now finally. So no, I mean, Jameson Williams receiving prop is interesting. We should.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's like 50.5 yards. Like that's far too low.
It's just so low.
We did have people
like similar to Nico Collins, right? Like you're just kind of like, what?
Yeah,
why is this low?
Nico Collins is incredible. He's incredible. But yeah, so I think that's enough. I mean, I think we've given out enough plays for this one. We did have people asking if we had a couple questions. You put one on the board, and then we had other people asking if we'll take like questions and stuff, and we'll absolutely take questions. I haven't really seen a ton of specific questions.
Adam today.
Yeah, I will.
Just a bunch of comments.
Michael said Dorsch is questionable, which is interesting. I'll have to look at that then, because if he's out, well, I mean, if he's out, you obviously get your money back. But if he's not going to play, scrap that. Obviously, I'll have to look at that then. I didn't know he was on the injury report. But if you guys, if you have questions, just drop them in here. Drop them.
Let's see. Anything for these? I think let's leave the primetime games alone. We'll both do content for those. Ravens, Cowboys, last one. Let's talk about it. Then let's make some maybe some touchdown parlays together.
All right. What do you let's see. Ravens and Cowboys. Trying to see if I had any notes. Oh, Derrick Henry's anytime touchdown was a -130. Then it moved to a -115. And now it's back to a -135. It was a lot. I was live on stream earlier this week, and it was a -115, and I couldn't believe it. So it had moved in a better direction for us, and I don't get it. Like Dallas gave up 3 or 4 touchdowns last week to Kamara. They've given up like the most rushing yards. No, they've given up the most. Well, they've given up the most rushing touchdowns this year. They've given up like the 10th most rushing yards in the league. I mean, I don't understand why this isn't a good Derrick Henry spot. He scored in both his games this year.
No.
Why would you go away from it? Like, I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I don't know why it would have moved.
-115 FanDuel right now. If you want it as a straight play for the confines of creating a single game parlay, I think we should start there because we're both on it. And why the heck not, man? Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
-135 sucks, by the way, on DK. But of course, we're talking parlays. I have one platform up. I just gave you best odds if you like it as a straight on FanDuel. To parlay this, what are you thinking?
I don't know. Let's look at
Kind of interest you
Lamar's
in some Lamar rushing?
passing. Oh, rushing. I actually like his
Yeah.
passing too. What's his rushing
Okay.
prop at?
Okay.
What's his
I think it
rushing?
was 37.5 earlier this week. Let me double check if I'm confusing his, but oh my God, it's way higher. It's
Oh
54
yeah.
now.
Okay, that's a different story.
That is a different
Listen,
story. Golly, I might be remembering last week. It was so freaking low last week.
I'm gonna run to the
54 and a
bathroom.
half.
You take this one for a minute.
I got you, man. I got you. All right, let's do this thing. So I'm going to bring up Lamar, and I want to look at his rushing yard props. I want to see if there were his rushing attempt. So we got him at 9.5 best odds. You can get actually, man, you can get 8.5 line. Hard Rock minus 140 if you like it. I'd actually be interested in the rush attempts. So I'm probably going to bring that up. Oh, let me open his player card here. Rush attempts through 2 weeks, had 5 last week, but again, they just didn't need to. Come from behind game, hit 16 carries, 122 yards in week 1, 45 in week 2 against Las Vegas. So, maybe I'm not touching. Look at this. Did that just go up 3 yards? Was it 52.5 for Lamar? Sheesh. Let me see if I can put the rush attempts in there. Usually I don't think we can parlay rush attempts in these single game parlays. But this has always been a spot. When we are targeting Lamar Jackson, I usually target spots where they're in competitive games. You have seen this for like 3 seasons. There you go, Reek. Smart play. You have seen this for like 3 seasons. When the game is decided by like a touchdown or less, Lamar racks up 9, 10, 11, 12 carries, 50, 60, 70 yards. When the games are like last week, where they're winning the game, they're up by 7 in the 4th, and he just doesn't need to run it. They turn around and pound the rock a little bit, some play action short passes. You see Lamar just not get those carries. You saw it last week against Vegas. Week 1 in the come from behind game, or the game where they're playing from behind, 16 carries, 122 yards. I am interested a little bit in Lamar at 50 plus rushing yards this week. I'm going to be honest. I'm not on this as a straight play. Would really just build out some type of game script, right? Like, okay, Dallas is playing well. They're scoring touchdowns. So Lamar has to run the football. 50 plus rushing yards for Lamar Jackson.
Is that
Reek,
what you
I
think?
like that, man.
You think Dallas? Who do you
I
think
think
wins
it's a
this game?
competitive game. I think Dallas,
Okay.
I believe they're at home, right? They're at home. Listen, they got embarrassed. But also I think there's an element here where like the Saints were playing so freaking well through 2 weeks here, and they played well to close out the season as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe I'm going to script out, and I haven't done it yet. Maybe I'm going to script out something where Dallas is competitive, CD Lamb touchdown, maybe a, plus 7.5 Dallas spread alt line, and then Lamar Jackson 50 plus rushing. It was something like that I've been trying to mull over.
What's Lamar's passing yardage at now? Is it still 213?
Passing for Lamar Jackson, 216.5 on DK Sportsbook.
So it's moved up slightly, but yeah, I don't mind his passing yardage too. He's been over in both games this year, both similar spots to this game. I don't expect the Ravens to run away with this game by any means, so it should be competitive the whole time. I think you could parlay it out with even what's his rushing and passing prop
for Lamar?
Combined? Yeah, right at the bottom of the screen right now.
Thank you. 276.5. Ooh.
So we're not getting a discount on that. Right. So it's 50. So it's basically like, I just wanted to see sometimes, like with the Stephon Diggs play, we got a little bit of, we got a little discount there. What are you laughing at?
I'm going to help out one of our viewers here. Seems to be struggling a little bit. Says, wants to ask, because he thinks his questions are getting ignored. The last comment we have seen from him up here was do you take questions from viewers or just interact? And then the next question is asking if we saw his other question. We haven't seen it, my friend. So we're not ignoring you. We just don't see your questions. They're not showing up on our streams.
Anytime touchdown Adams, and he's got a question. Anytime touchdown for Devontae Adams and Ezekiel Elliott touchdown to parlay. Thoughts?
Yeah. Let's get to that when we do our overall games.
Okay, sure.
That's off topic.
All
here.
right, we'll jump on that one then.
Yeah.
Do we think this is a week that Dak Prescott throws 300 plus yards? Like if this is a competitive game, or they're even potentially behind.
Like, you want to look at his passing yards prop?
Yeah, maybe 200 plus and CD 100 plus.
You mean 300 plus or no?
300 plus. Yeah, sorry. 300 plus,
yep.
And CD 100 plus, maybe something like that. I mean, an easy ladder for, yeah.
I mean, listen, if they're cooking like that, I'm taking CD for a tutty too.
Sure. I mean,
I think this is And listen, if they're cooking too, you know what else I'm doing? I'm taking the rushing yards for Lamar. This is what I was kind of alluding to. It's like,
50 plus,
all right,
yeah.
if Dallas is really keeping pace here and they're scoring points, and we've got the Ravens on the other side, having to, play a faster pace, or there's a lot of points being scored. Shoot. There's a lot to like here.
I do like it. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know who wins this game. Both these teams have kind of been up and down. I could not believe the Ravens lost last week.
They're 0-2. Oh my gosh.
9.5 point favorites at home, I think, right? In Baltimore, I believe. Maybe not. But like either way, it doesn't matter. Shouldn't matter. No, they were on the road, I think. But it shouldn't matter.
They were up too. They were up in the fourth. Lamar only 5 carries in that game and a loss. I was alluding to that in the beginning when you went and stepped out for a second. Is that Lamar in those games where they're playing for behind in the fourth? I love taking for rushing. Last week, just 5 carries made no sense.
That's what I mean. That was like, I was gonna say, that's his game script. That's exactly why when he should have done well. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it was odd. I don't know. Maybe it was like trying to make that just making the mental choice to like not run it as much because he had 16 carries in week 1. Like maybe that was it. I don't know. It was very bizarre. I like this a lot. I think there's some upside here. You're asking a lot, though. It is asking a lot. But, my friends, that is why it's baked into a plus 1,600 odds.
How many times did Dak get there last year? Let me see.
That's a good question. You want to look that up on the side?
Yeah. How many times did he get to 300 plus last year? And, I mean, if he gets there, CD's helping him get there.
MVP Eric says, I could see that game being a shootout. Yeah, I think this is one of those spots this week, and I don't know if I can call it sneaky. But I think this is one of those spots where it's like, we're all going to look back at the end of the week and be like, why didn't we have more bets on this game? Like this was the one we should have been targeting. It's a 4 p.m. game. It's going to be one of the 3 being played. We've got superstars all over the field. You got a combined 1-3 record from these two teams, much higher hopes for both franchises this season. And, I think they bring it. I think they could bring it.
So Dak got there in about 32% of their games, roughly. But honestly, like his line is a 255.5 and BetMGM. You could just take his straight line. Still, you could even do like if you wanted to make it a little bit friendlier, take his over 255.5 and take like CD 80 plus even or something. Like it doesn't. I mean, I'm fine with that because like that's the point of what we're trying to build here at a plus 1,600. But like, yeah, I think you could easily just go down to like a more, exactly. And then do like 2 plus, sure. And then 80 plus for CD, something like that.
Sure. Yeah. As we just continue.
Yeah, whatever. Just click.
Deeper and deeper.
It's fine.
What if we remove Henry and we're saying, Dallas is cooking and Lamar's just scrambling? It just removed Derrick Henry. Like, what if he's not on the field as much? What if they're playing behind? We saw Justice Hill. 65% of snaps or something in week 1. Like, what if that happens again?
And maybe throw a Justice Hill touchdown. Somebody's got to score. Receiving yards, sure. Throw his receiving yards in. If you're with this game script we're building out.
Exactly. It's game script. I mean, I like it.
And what about maybe Zay or something too, even? I don't know. You just got to, because they're going to have to do something. Somebody's getting some yards. 50 plus?
What's Zay had through the first 2 weeks? Can you bring that up?
Yeah, good question. That's what I was just
I wish I had a tool. I could do this.
I don't know.
I say those things, and I love seeing your little smirk. I stare at your little window when I say these.
Did I tell you that I alerted this in V? I'm just
kidding. Yeah.
Well, he had 37 and then 91 last week, though.
Okay.
So I don't mind 50 plus. I think that's fair. It's a nice spot to land, I feel like.
I mean, we have literally just scripted out, and I'll put it all so I can organize it together. We have literally just scripted out. Dallas is playing with a lead, and the Ravens are struggling to run the football. Like, that is all we have done. That is all we have done. We are seeing, the Cowboys go out there and do what they did a lot last year, where Dak throws a touchdown to CD. 250 plus yards, I would imagine he had done at a fair rate last year. CD, we saw score 13 touchdowns. Where's the out rushing? Goodness. I like it. Like, I really like it. Dude, if they have any 4 p.m. boosts and stuff, I'm sure they'll have something. I like that a lot.
I mean, I see I Love Money was talking about Zeke touchdowns. The only thing that's concerning is the Ravens are literally the toughest in the league right now against the run. teams have run the ball for only 74 yards total in 2 weeks. And that's Pacheco and Zamir White, who's not a slouch. It's not like the studs of the studs, but like, man, Zamir White, 9 attempts for 24 yards. Pacheco, 15 carries for 45 yards. So, like, I don't think these two teams really get there on the ground. Like, and I know we're not talking about his rushing yardage prop, but, you get inside the red zone. Sure, they might hand the ball off to Zeke, but the Ravens are stout up front. So I think they might be better off getting there with, man, do I dare say, you want to talk about regression? Mark Andrews touchdown? I don't know. You get down in the red zone. If they can't throw the ball in, gonna have to score somehow. Little Mark Andrews. I don't know if it'd be Isaiah Likely. That's the hard part. We don't have to throw it in. Just talking, spitballing. You're talking about a guy that could rebound. I mean, Mark Andrews was his favorite target. Hasn't scored through the first 2 weeks. Has not looked great. But
there was a little bit of a pendulum swing last week from Likely to Andrews, wasn't there? If I'm remembering correctly.
A little bit. I mean, Andrews is still very capable. Everybody saw him in week 1. He looked terrible. I was a little nervous. But 51 receiving yards last week, 5 targets, went from 2 to 5, 4 receptions. If you give me 4 to 5, 4 to 6, even Mark Andrews receptions, I like the odds of him getting a touchdown in a game like this. That's like a shootout, high scoring, that kind of thing. So that's interesting too. That's an interesting angle, but yeah, I mean, like at a plus 2,300, we're not asking for too much.
We ain't asking for much at all. I think honestly, I am intrigued in like literally just running this out as like a plus 450 because I was looking on the side here. There's a boost. There's a 50% boost on FanDuel. At least I have one for this 4 p.m. game, 4 p.m. slate. You got to use the boost for the 4 p.m. And I might go to FanDuel and try to put something like this together as a a fun little afternoon lotto to sweat things out. So gonna have to remember this one for sure. I like the way that we've scripted this, and I think I'm ready to move on and talk about the entire slate and see if we can put together any, long odds bangers across all the games.
All right.
That being said, we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show. What do you think? Keep going or no?
Let's do one where we pick a couple of touchdown bets and just put them together. There's one thing. It'll take 3 minutes, pretty much. I'll start with Alvin Kamara. Give me his touchdown. I'll take his anytime touchdown. Actually, you know what? No, I'll start. Well, you could start with Alvin Kamara because I said it, but I actually like
Jonathan I'll go with Alvin there so we can keep going. That's fine.
I like Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor's in line to score a touchdown this week.
All right. So we got plus 163 so far. Not bad. Good start.
Who's your next guy?
Jordan Mason. I think he's just literally going to be. Yeah. I looked it up earlier this week. 11 red zone rushes this season. The only person that has more, Saquon Barkley, 13. So I think this man's going to get his action this week, especially if Kittle ends up being confirmed out. No Debo, no Kittle, no CMC. It's Jordan Mason, red zone.
Yep. No, I think you're right. If I had to pick another one
I'm going to do us a favor, and I'm going to close all of these games.
Yep.
So you can just see a beautiful little overlay of what we got.
Let me think. Who would be the next guy I would pick? I think I would go.
Is it Henry?
I don't want it to be Henry.
Connor?
Yeah, Connor. That's what I was debating on. Give me Connor. Give me James Conner.
You got it. We're up to plus 647. DK this week, I believe, has a touchdown token too, or something like that. They've been doing those where you can use like a free bet every night, like Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. So like this is the type of token I'd use it on, like a parlay. It's a freebie.
What about Saquon Barkley and maybe round it out? You have another one? Do you have another guy you like more? Do you have a different guy?
Just to avoid having guys in the same game, I think would be fun.
All right.
And I would have to do an SGPX.
Okay, sure.
For DK, which is just annoying to go back and create. So.
Sure.
But that being said, Saquon in that game, I think is a fine option. I'm with you.
Who do you like then?
Let me think about this. That's funny that I just said that because then I wanted David Montgomery, and I'd have to make the SGPX.
Do it.
Let's get a little kooky. Let's go for it. Let's do an SGPX for this, and we'll do the same thing for Kamara in the Saints game, and let's just have some fun here. Let's just go crazy.
I think, man, I hate to say it because I do love Mason this week, But I think that if you had to get I don't even know if he's that high of odds. He's probably not as high as he should be. But I like Brandon Ayuk's touchdown this week too, even maybe. Oh, wow.
Dude, that's a plus 2,000 for guys I really like up and down the list. Saquon and Kamara, Monty and Connor, Mason and Taylor.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty freaking good. And you got a free touchdown token or whatever it is.
Yeah, these are the ones to use those tokens.
This is where you use it, man. You don't use a $10 free token on one player. You're trying to make bank. You know, you're getting your money back. You're getting it credited back in your account if it misses. This is gorgeous.
Yeah,
I really like this.
I like it.
All right, let's do it. Let's end the show on that.
Yeah, let's make it.
Almost an hour and 30 minutes, my friends. Throw us back up on there. David and I texted each other about it last week, man. We're just so tired after like the 1 hour mark. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, a lot of chatting. We're also up early preparing. So it's, a 4-hour stint by the time our show ends that we have prepared, had our show meeting before, go live, usually a little post-show recap. It's a nice chunk of our morning on a Saturday, and we got to get to family life. So thank you very much for tuning in, my friends. Every Saturday, catch us 9 a.m. Eastern. We will be here for you. Hit that sub button on both our YouTubes, like our videos. And if you're on Twitter, just do us a huge favor, like it, retweet it, whatever, for the show as well before you dip out. And we wish you the best of luck, my friends. Good luck this weekend on all your bets, and come back next Saturday, and we'll be here for you. David, you want to say anything before you dip?
Adios. Have a great weekend.
Peace out.